Radio Brockley, now officially the UK's #1 hospital radio station.
Hello and welcome to Brockley News, Radio Brockley's weekly show, keeping you up to date with all you need to know about what's happening in and around the hospital. I'm Alan Joyce, and the last 24 hours have been perhaps the most exciting and rewarding in Radio Brockley's near 50-year history. Last night it was the annual Hospital Broadcasting Association Awards in Watford, and Radio Brockley won the most prestigious award of them all, the Station of the Year 2016. We'll have reaction on that and news on our other 3 awards over the next half an hour. Then at 7:30, your chance to win some Radio Brockley goodies without leaving your bed. Bedside Bingo is here. David Rouch will be calling out the numbers. And then at 8 o'clock tonight, it's all your choice of tunes on the Sunday Request Show with Keith Reeve. So stay tuned to London's longest running hospital radio station, and now the UK's #1 hospital radio station. It's Radio Brockley. So what an incredible weekend it's been. On Friday and Saturday, you may have heard some special programmes here on Radio Brockley as we welcomed hospital radio volunteers from across the UK to our studios here at Radio Brockley. Well, last night it was the Hospital Broadcasting Association Awards in Watford, which is like the Oscars of hospital radio. And amazingly, Radio Brockley came away with 4 awards, including the Gold for Station of the Year. So that means we're now officially the UK's #1 hospital radio station. We also won a Gold Award for Best Promo, Silver Award for the Best Speech Package, and our trustee Keith Reeve won the prestigious John Whitney Award for Outstanding Contribution to Hospital Radio. Well, we'll hear from Keith very soon, but let's first listen to the Gold Award-winning package for Station of the Year 2015.
This is Radio Brockley.
Hi, I'm Tony Blackburn, and you're listening to London's longest-running hospital radio station, Radio Brockley. Get well soon. Not the radio station. You.
I want to send a special message to all the doctors and the nurses and the cleaners and all the cooks. They are fabulous. They have done a wonderful job. And Dr. Leon, he's done magic with Elizabeth's back. I'm so grateful. Yay!
Well, when I was 7, I was diagnosed with bone cancer. I couldn't have been at a better hospital because this is by far the most incredible hospital I've ever been at.
The neuro doctor was there, the eye doctor was there, no, my dad was there. And I said, oh, so is it good news? And the doctor shook his head, so no, it's not. And he said, you have a brain tumour. And that's pretty much how I found out.
I just think that everybody has their own journey, and I think it's a lot of mind over matter, and if they stay close to these charities and they take the support, keep their chins up and fight every day as it comes, hopefully we can get them a cure.
Just a few moments from the last year here on Radio Brockley. The station started broadcasting to the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital in Stanmore back in 1966, and therefore is now in its 50th year of broadcasting. The technology may have changed a lot in that time, the members have most certainly changed, and so has the programming. But one thing has stayed the same, our priority to bring entertainment to our patients. More than ever before, we are now very much working with the hospital to bring patients, staff and visitors up to date with everything that's happening in and around the RNOH. We've been invited to record their AGM, their clinical trials days, their annual staff awards, and we've been there to support them at local community events.
Yep, so here we are then in Hertford for the start of the Ellis Harriet Clark cycle ride for 2015, and weather conditions far from ideal this year, unfortunately, after having 2 really sunny years, the previous 2 years. Today it's grey, it's misty, very cold as well. So let's join some of our reporters now, Sue Weston, Emma O'Connor and Emily Colebrook.
I am with Billy, who is the organiser.
Ellis is my little sister. She died at the age of 16 after a 4-year battle with osteosarcoma.
Which is bone cancer.
Exactly. It would have been Ellis's 21st birthday 3 years ago, and we decided we needed to do something that was full of passion, full of energy, and was a good way of fundraising without us just begging people for money. We wanted people to come along and have a great day and challenge themselves.
Radio Brockley at the wonderful Stanmore Fair, and this gazebo belongs to the Stanmore Society. Do you know what the origins of the name Stanmore are historically? What is
Stones by the Mere. The Mere was thought to be the ponds up in Wood Lane near the hospital. and there was a Roman camp here. They had a pottery on Brockley Hill opposite the main gates of your hospital, and the theory is when the Saxons came here they found the remains of that scattered around, so the stones by the mere became corrupted into Stanmore.
Well, with me now I have Leslie, who's from the Bernays Garden Community Group.
The lovely thing about the group is, though, it really represents completely the diversity of Stanmore, because we have Hindu members, Jewish members, Christian members, Muslim members, and it's wonderful. We all work together and it's such a good atmosphere.
Right now, I'm saying hello to Rob Hurd, that's the CEO of the RNOH.
Hi Graham, great to have you here. Always good to see Radio Brockley supporting the hospital. There's always been a bit of an issue with the RNOH in that we're, as a national centre, as our name implies, the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital, we're not so much of a local hospital as hospitals with accident and emergency departments, and we really want to sort of spend a bit more effort getting engaged with the local community, getting volunteers into the hospital for the local community, but get people out on the wards, talking to patients. You know, like Radio Brockley, really welcome Radio Brockley support as always, out there improving the patient experience, all sorts of things to help patients, some of whom stay in the hospital a long time. We welcome their support.
Here are some of the highlights from some of the other events we have covered within the hospital.
We're keeping our fingers and everything else we have crossed, because the weather forecast for midday looks very doubtful indeed, but we're hoping that all the good spirit and the joy and the love and stuff up here will blow that away, and the sun will come out as it did last year, and we have a cracking day at the RNOH Buttercup Walk. I'm pleased to say I'm with the guest of honour, whose name is Norman Sharp. I believe you underwent one of the first hip replacements, if not the first.
I'm very confident it was the first, because there was so much fuss, and Professor Zedden was involved, and it was his idea. Professor Zedden told me that Mr. Newman had just come back from America to learn all about this new procedure. He asked Mr. Newman if he would do them for me, and Mr. Newman said yes. He said, I think I can help this young man.
Fantastic.
It went from there.
And what year was that?
That was 1948.
So the Buttercup Walk is underway. We're going to try and talk to people along the way as we go through the next hour or so.
I'm with Irene now, who's also on a walk. How are you doing?
Very slow. Very slow.
So you've been a patient at the hospital?
Yes.
Do you mind me asking what you've had done?
Stage 2 knee replacement.
And would you encourage other patients to get involved in this next year when it maybe might be a bit nicer weather?
Yes. Not me though. It's too much like hard work.
I enjoyed seeing the fireworks, and I especially enjoyed seeing the fireworks where they turned into sparkles after.
I'm with Lindsay Duffel.
So this is an ergometer, so it allows a patient to wheel up in their wheelchair and attach their feet to the pedals. We then give them electrical stimulation to the relevant muscles for cycling. So what that means is we can actually measure how much force is being produced by the stimulation and voluntarily by the patient. We can put some electrodes on and do some electrical stimulation if you want.
So Ron is now rolling up his sleeves, ready to have the stimulation put on his biceps. There they are, bulging.
There's no need to be rude.
The electrodes are attached now, so we're going to gradually turn the stimulation up. I want you to tell me when you can feel something.
Okay. I'm a bit worried about this now. There's so much muscle, it's having trouble getting through. Oh, there it goes. Yes, I can feel that now. Yeah.
Okay, can I go up a bit higher?
Yeah.
Just tell me if you're too much.
Yeah, oh, about that, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's...
So you can see we were starting to get some elbow flexion there.
Yeah, and if I was a patient in a wheelchair, they would be on my legs and stimulating the muscles in my legs.
Exactly.
I will hand you over to Matt Shaw, the medical director, who will talk through the award winners and I will present them with their awards.
So, newcomer of the year. So the runner-up goes to Cameron Stewart.
Well done to Cameron Stewart then, from the Teaching Centre, and after the awards I caught up with him to get his reaction. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Were you surprised to get the award today?
Yes, very much so, especially against the other four. I was optimistic more before I saw the lineup, to be honest.
And what's the nicest thing about working here at the hospital?
Just the fact that people throw events like this, the fact that you feel like you matter even though you've not been here very long.
Well, congratulations on the award today. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Radio Brockley has a regular news and information programme which is available to staff and patients to listen to via our YouTube channel. We've covered a vast array of interviews including senior staff, other local charities and in this case 2 of our own members who had an incredible story to tell.
In the studio today we've got Emily Colebrook and her mum Lisa.
I started my final year of A-levels, so I was in year 13, and I started to go through quite a bit of changes in my personality. I cried a lot, I was very snappy towards people and I couldn't control it. And it got to May 2012 and I've noticed something in my eyesight, so I said to my mum, I'm going to the opticians. They did tests on me and then they brought in a neuro doctor and they said to me, we want to do an MRI scan on you. So I had an MRI scan, I was with my dad, and then we had to wait at the hospital for 2 hours for the results. The neuro doctor was there, the eye doctor was there, no, my dad was there, and I said, oh, so is it good news? And the doctor shook his head, so no, it's not, and he said, you have a brain tumour, and that's pretty much how I found out.
Wow. Mum, Lisa, how was that for you and her dad?
My husband rang me from the hospital and he was in floods of tears, so I told him off and said, no, you can't be like that, you've got to pull yourself together, man, and you have to be strong for Emily and come home and we'll just sort it out, we'll get through it. But if somebody tells you you've got a brain tumour, you think, well, that's it, your daughter's going to die.
And what was it like seeing Emily straight after the surgery?
She did look amazing, I have to say. We used to go outside in the garden and we sit there and have a cup of tea, and she used to eat me out of house and home because of the drugs she was on. But you just pay and carry on because she's alive.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really pleased to be joined by Caitlin Kidd, who's one of the faces of the current RNOH Make It Happen campaign. So can you tell me a little bit about your experiences here at the RNOH?
Well, when I was 7, I was diagnosed with bone cancer in my right leg, which meant that after having chemotherapy, I would have to come here and have my bone replaced with a titanium prosthesis.
So tell me a little bit more about your replacement bone, effectively. How does it work?
It's got a motor inside it, which has a magnet in it, which when I put my leg into a sort of mini MRI machine, a magnet then turns the screw inside the motor, which then lengthens my leg, and it's non-invasive and it's absolutely amazing. It means that I can get my leg grown whenever I need it, which is great.
Yeah, so as you grow,
my leg grows with me,
the leg grows with you, so they haven't got to take you apart all the time.
No.
And that's absolutely tremendous, isn't it?
It is, it's absolutely amazing.
So I'm with Irene Latter from TDF. So if I was going to come to you and you felt that Reiki would suit me, what would it be that you thought, oh yes, this person would really benefit from Reiki?
Well, if you were under a lot of stress or if you really could not relax, Reiki has the most amazing way of calming the whole system down. Some people go initially to a place that's emotionally upsetting, but that's what's blocking them, and they manage to work through that. May take 2 or 3 treatments, but they work through that and then they just feel completely rejuvenated and reborn.
This time last year I interviewed Paul Parrish after he completed one of the world's toughest triathlons in the Arch to Arc Challenge. Well, this year he's gone one stage further by competing in arguably TV's most physically demanding reality show ever, the BBC's Special Forces Ultimate Hell Week.
I never thought about quitting. I knew that I'd get fired at some point, but I never ever thought I'd quit. It's 30 hours without sleep, without anything to eat. But it's the kind of stuff I do. It's what got me through the Arch to Arc, is that I have a philosophy that I know that everything will pass. You will get a cup of tea eventually in life.
And of course we continue to provide a range of music and request shows, something for everyone.
Without That Certain Thing, sung by Peggy Dale with the Roy Fox at London's Kit Kat Club, we're now going to have a Jack Payne record next. During the 50s and 60s, he was a compere and a DJ on the BBC, where he was a bit more critical than most of the compares. Well, let's hear one of his records, and it is Down Sunnyside Lane, vocalist Billy Scott Coomber.
We're going to change the tempo slightly. This is one of Rod Stewart's tunes. It's for the lovely Jean. And this is Baby Jane.
Yeah, he's got a new album out, actually.
Has it?
Rod.
I've
Yeah.
heard it.
Heard a couple of tracks on the wireless. Quite good. You know,
Yeah,
it's still
different or the same?
It's different because his voice has changed now. He's getting on in years a little bit, but he's still got it.
Okay.
Can our Rod? He can still strut his funky stuff.
Yes, good evening and welcome along to the Country Music Show. My name's Ronald Laver, and for the next hour we've got a lot of good things happening. New music from US female artist Cam, new singles from Carrie Underwood and the Shires, news about the 2016 Country to Country Festival, oldies from Garth Brooks, Dolly Parton, plus a live Grand Ole Opry recording of Patsy Cline from 1961.
With me now in the studio, here on Alpha Sessions, I have Maya Wolf. So let's talk about the new single then, Midnight Sun.
Yeah. So I collaborated with 1000 Days Wasted on that single. The song is very much kind of being in a dark place but looking for kind of that positivity, and he's given it the title of Midnight Sun, which is like at midnight it should be dark but there is sun there.
That's interesting. So you didn't even choose the title of it?
No, he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a listen.
We've captured some magical moments on Radio Brockley over the last 12 months, and here's just one more to end with.
Can I sing on the radio now?
That is an awesome idea, fantastic.
The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar back tomorrow. There'll be sun. When I'm stuck with a day that's grey and lonely, I just stick up my chin and grin and say, get well soon. Bye.
This is Radio Brockley.
So there you go, that's our Gold Award-winning entry for Station of the Year 2016. Some of the comments from the judges said particularly that Radio Brockley is an integral part of their hospital, not just broadcasting for the patients, but also covering various staff events too. A great listen and a deserved winner. Well, with me now in the studio is Keith Reeve, one of Radio Brockley's longest-serving members and winner of the very prestigious John Whitney Award for Outstanding Contribution to Radio Brockley. Hello to you, Keith.
Hello, Alan.
What an incredible evening last night. 2 Golds Award effectively for you. 2 of the biggest awards of the whole night. What's your reaction to what went on 24 hours ago?
I'm not sure it's actually sunk in yet. When you say 2 awards, you know, I think one of them, you've got to say, is a team effort. It's the Gold Award for Radio Brockley is a fantastic achievement for a small station. And we should all take some praise for that, because we all put in an awful lot of effort in, some in larger parts, some in smaller parts, but it's all a team effort. And for a small station competing against some much, much larger hospital radio stations with multiple hospitals, thousands of beds. You know, we've got 220 beds here at the RNOH, and we don't have the traffic, if you like, coming in through the door because we don't have an A&E. So we're very much a different type of hospital to your typical general hospital or multiple group hospitals in a big city. So we punch so high and so far above our weight, it's amazing.
And the John Whitney Award, of course, that is every member from every hospital radio station across the UK competing against each other effectively. And you were singled out as making an absolutely outstanding contribution right across the board. Some very, very positive things said about you over your nearly 40 years service to Radio Brockley and to hospital radio in general, because, of course, you had a big say in the whole Wi-Fi Spark project, which came up a few years ago. I mean, what was your reaction when you heard your name read out for that?
I kind of, when he first opened the speech, when Paul Sylvester, who introduced the award, started speaking, he said, this person has been working at, I think, something like his hospital radio for 39 years. I thought, that could be me. And then when he carried on through the spiel, I suddenly started to think, this is all sounding very familiar. And it is when he mentioned Wi-Fi Spark, because Radio Brockley was the first hospital radio in the UK to broadcast via the Wi-Fi Spark network. I thought, it is us, and it is me, and that's when the penny dropped, if you like. And then, of course, my name was announced, and I went up. 280 people, standing ovation in a gala dinner. It's amazing. And then
what I wasn't at all prepared for, but somehow managed to carry off, was the fact he said, "Would you like to say a few words?" So he's kind of showed me towards the lectern, and there I am standing in front of all of these people with no script, no thought having been given to what are you going to say, because I wasn't expecting to win it. And something came out that seemed to make sense from what other people tell me, but I can't remember all I said.
No, you did a great job, I can tell you that. Worthy of a standing ovation anyway. And congratulations for fantastic achievement there. I mean, what do you think is the key to Radio Brockley's success over the last 12 months?
Well, I think, the patience, obviously. We're here for you. We do all of this because we love you, and we want to try to make your stay at the RNOH more bearable, more interesting, more fun, if that's the right term to use in a hospital, and to inform you of stuff that's going on that might be of interest or a benefit. So the patients are the thing that matters. How have we done this? Well, it's a lot of effort from a lot of people, but I know that you, Alan Joyce, and as in you, and Ron Laver put an awful lot of effort into putting these entries together, and without your efforts, your extreme efforts last autumn to get those entries in on time, we wouldn't have been there in the first place. But having the material to feed into those entries and the diversity of what we do now, which is tremendous, is the thing that obviously helps. If you've got a good menu, you're likely to get a good dinner, and I think that's really what's happened with it.
No, absolutely. And as someone who works in radio myself, I can tell you some of the output that we've had over the last 12 months has been absolutely superb, and you heard some of it in that package there. I mean, can you sum up the weekend? Because obviously we had some special programmes on Friday and Saturday with lots of visits from people from other hospital radios. What was their reaction to what we were doing here?
It was great. Some of them I'd met at conference myself in previous years and visited their stations. They loved Radio Brockley. Radio Brockley, although you can't see it, it's radio, is quite retro in its look. It's not a modern facility in any respect. Most of what we're using is approaching 30 years old. Well, some of the equipment is, and some of it's actually older. Some of it's much newer. But we are a retro station in that respect, and we are not state of the art by any means, but it just proves it's not what you look like or what you've got, it's what you use it for and how you achieve what you achieve. And I think, as I said earlier, a small station really achieving well above what you would expect to be its level.
And just finally, I don't suppose you got much sleep last night, did you? But
No.
You've got a programme to do at 8 o'clock this evening. Are you going to be okay for that, do you think?
Well, we'll see, won't we? I hope so, yes. I've got the matchsticks to keep the eyes open. I've told my engineer, Emma, your good lady, to give me a prod with a sharp stick if I nod off. And hopefully the listeners will give lots of requests to keep me occupied and to keep the programme moving. So, yes, at 8 o'clock, lots of requests, please. Keep me awake for an hour, and we'll see where we go from there.
All right, brilliant. Well, congratulations to you again. Well done on a fantastic award for the John Whitney Award. Well deserved. And make sure you join Keith later on this evening after 8 o'clock. Cheers, Keith.
Thank you.
Well, a summary of some of the other winners from last night then. Radio Tyneside won 3 golds for Best Specialist Music Programme, Best Promo and Best Speech Package. Arrow Sound won the Best Show with Multiple Presenters. CHBN won the award for Best Special Event. Chloe O'Chaza from Watford Hospital Radio won the Fundraiser of the Year. Male Presenter of the Year was Dave Warren from the Hospital Radio Basingstoke. And Female Presenter of the Year, Peggy Mack from the Hospital Broadcasting Service. Now, one of our other awards was the Silver Award for Best Speech Package, which was for our coverage of the Clinical Trials Awareness Day, featuring our reporters Sue Weston and Ron Laver. Let's hear from them now. So as part of our series on research and development here in the RNOH, Radio Brockley went along to the recent Clinical Trials Awareness Day.
So this is an ergometer, so it allows a patient to wheel up in their wheelchair and attach their feet to the pedals, and we can turn a motor on which will be turning their legs. We then give them electrical stimulation to the relevant muscles for cycling during every other cycle, and the cycles in between they receive no stimulation. So what that means is we can actually measure how much force is being produced by the stimulation and voluntarily by the patient. And then we have this nice virtual reality game here, and the cyclist on here is only going to get faster if the patient is voluntarily contributing themselves.
Okay, and what we're looking at here is basically a standard cycling game that you would find running on a Nintendo or something similar.
Exactly. and so it gives them some motivation to really contribute themselves to the cycling. So lots of people do FES cycling already, but they find it a little bit boring because the stimulation is moving their legs and they don't really feel there's any motivation for them to contribute to it. And we feel if we want to strengthen this pathway from the brain to the muscles, we really need them to contribute themselves. So we need to give them some motivation. So this is why we have the game, and the game working based on their voluntary effort rather than based on what the stimulation is doing.
So this is really aimed at patients that have got some sensation still in their legs, and this is tapping into that and encouraging them, I guess.
Exactly.
It's like this is switching on the brain really and saying, yeah, you've got a connection down there, use it.
Exactly. And we're activating the lower part of that connection. We need you to activate the upper part, and hopefully that whole pathway gets strengthened. We can put some electrodes on and do some electrical stimulation if you want.
So Ron is now rolling up his sleeves, ready to have his the stimulation put on his biceps.
The electrodes are attached now, so we're going to gradually turn the stimulation up. I want you to tell me when you can feel something. Okay. So I'm going to turn it up a bit.
There's so much muscle, it's having trouble getting through. Oh, there it goes. Yes, I can feel that now. Yeah. Oh, about that, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's...
So you can see that we were starting to get some elbow flexion there. As we turn.
And if I was a patient in a wheelchair, they would be on my legs and stimulating the muscles in my legs.
Exactly.
I've got Dr. Tom Carlson with me now.
This is Rex Bionics Rex exoskeleton, and it's originally developed as an assistive technology to help a paraplegic stand up by themselves, and they're also looking into how it can be used in a rehabilitation sense as well. So for helping people to perform exercises, stretches and things while standing up in a kind of controlled manner. We're doing some research with them, looking at how to control these devices and how to make them more usable.
So these are exercise machines rather than walking aids?
Yes, I think the initial concept was to be a walking aid. It's quite noisy, it's quite slow. It's okay for indoor use, but I think that it could have a real use inside a rehabilitation centre for performing controlled rehabilitative exercises.
Okay, Dr. Carlson has now enlisted the help of a volunteer, and we're hopefully going to get a demonstration.
Because it's completely supporting your body, okay, it's not going to feel like a natural gait, okay? So if you press the joystick forwards in a moment, it's going to shift all your body weight onto your left foot. Yeah. Then it will move your right foot forwards, pop it down on the floor, and then you shift your weight across onto the right foot, okay? Okay. So let's try one step. So push forward. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Okay. Okay. Wow.
It's like watching the bottom half of a robot. He's just standing in mechanical legs and really a back brace, and it is allowing him to walk.
Okay, John, now if you keep the joystick pressed forward, it will do the same thing, but this time instead of bringing that foot here, it will just continue swinging forwards. Yeah?
Alex, you've just been trying out the mechanical walking machine, haven't you? How did you find it?
I found it very comfortable, actually. No problems at all. There was no point I was scared or falling over. It looks kind of like the thing from The Wrong Trousers and Wallace and Gromit, but it's a lovely machine. It's great. It's a really good invention.
Some absolutely fascinating research going on then here at the RNOH. A big thanks to our reporter Sue Weston and to Ron Laver. A big thanks to them once again, because they won silver for that particular package. A big well done to Sue and Ron for all their hard work. Final category that we won an award for was the Bronze Award for Station Promotion, and that's for Thursday Live. Tune in on Thursday evenings at 8 for Thursday Live, where you get the chance to choose all the music.
We're playing you some nice music on the radio tonight. What would you like to hear?
See You Again by Wiz Khalifa, and I'm Not the Only One by Sam Smith.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're doing a great job. You're excellent distractors.
Radio Brockley has been a great help through quite a few bad nights, especially this week.
The radio, it gives a little spark in the evenings, and I like to listen to people's requests.
And I want to send a special message to all the doctors and the nurses and the cleaners and all the cooks. They are fabulous. They have done a wonderful job. And Dr. Leon, he's done magic with Elizabeth's back. I'm so grateful. Yeah!
So tune in on Thursday nights from 8 for Thursday Live, right here on London's longest-running hospital radio station, Radio Brockley.
This is Radio Brockley.
So that completes our awards from last night. So just to recap, we won bronze for Best Station Promotion, silver for Best Speech Package, and then gold for Station of the Year, making Radio Brockley the UK's official #1 hospital radio station. Don't think I'm going to get bored of saying that for a while. And a big congratulations to Keith, who I mentioned before, Keith Reeve, who won the John Whitney Award for outstanding contribution to Radio Brockley. If you want to listen to that package again, we'll have it all up on our YouTube site very shortly. Go to youtube.com/Radio Brockley, or you can go to our website at radiobrockley.org. Don't forget, you can catch up with Brockley News Extra as well, Mondays to Fridays at midday, and also tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Brockley News returns at the same time next week, when we'll be hearing from the singing legend Alison Moyet on our Easter special. From me, Alan Joyce, good night.